Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday night, and it is true you can paint with almost anything unless you had as much Kraken to drink as I did on the last podcast when we were doing the IG thing, so then you can't paint with a damn thing. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Painting with Menoth John. I am your ever convivial host, Mr. Menoth John, and with me I have the voice from across the states, the co-host with the most, Mr. John Spencer. Say hello to the Brushheads.
Hey, Brushheads, how's it going?
Oh, my God. We have a normal show today, John.
We do.
I can't tell you how excited I am to not be doing anything special. It's just you and me, the way it's always been, the way it's always going to be. Ugh. We have no...
It's going to be good.
We have no national expert on here to give us any kind of tech, so we can literally say anything we want about models and what they're going to be good at. We have got a vast lineup here. I hope all the brush heads have gone out and watched Conan the Barbarian, because we are going to talk about Conan the Barbarian spoilers. And frankly, if you have spoilers on Conan the Barbarian, it's like 25 years old, so suck it. Before we get too far into the podcast, Mr. John, what are you having for your beverage this week?
Well, I've got a shot of Kraken as normal, and I've also got my standard cherry Dr. Pepper and cherry whiskey mix.
I, on the other hand, am going to be drinking water. So I had way too much to drink during the IG finals, and I promised the ever-patient, ever-amazing Belinda Librarian that I was going to drink water tonight. So on behalf of my liver and you, John Spencer, hey, Rahn.
Ron.
This just goes to show that you don't have to drink to enjoy Painting with Menoth, John, but it helps. So, all right, what are you going to be painting tonight, John?
If I get a chance, I'm going to work some more on the rock lobster.
On Rock Lobster, everybody's favorite earthbreaker. Nice.
Yep, he's a lot less red than he used to be. The colors really bring it out.
Good. I'm going to be working on the Paladins of the Order of the Wall and Vilmon that I'm painting for the WTC. I've got to get these down to Wild Bill Pagani by the end of June, so I better get these son of a guns finished up.
Yeah, it's getting perilously close. Actually, it is exactly mid-June at this point. So.
Yup, but I'm here all week, so try the veal and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire up. Let me get the painting cam going here. And we are going to dissolve off to the famous painting cam. There we go. I got to double check here to make sure it's in the proper alignment. There we go. It's in the close-up mode now. So now we'll be able to actually maybe see what the hell it is I'm doing. But mention, John, that we've got ourselves a fairly action-packed show tonight. We have our usual bat reps and things like that. We've got some flippity bloops, and then we've got the media portion of the show. So I hope all the brushheads will stay with us throughout the course of the evening. It's going to be a trip. So, John, I played a tournament this weekend.
Excellent.
Yes. Weird things happen, and I played in a tournament. I don't get a chance to play a ton of competitive War Machine these days, what with the travel and all that kind of stuff, and custody being as it is. But I played I played in went 3-1 in Milwaukee. And so I've got a couple bat reps to share with all the brushheads out there.
Excellent.
So quick, what I was doing this weekend was I really hemmed and hawed a lot about my lists. I I was having a lot of trouble deciding. You know, when you take a look at a model sometimes and you started to paint it during the middle of a 12-hour show or 11-hour show, you kind of look at it and go, wow, I did kind of a shitty job on that. I better touch up a few of these things. But anyway, so I was hemming and hawing with my lists, and Owen, the cooler, was consulting with me a little bit. And I believe Owen is in the chat room. He said he was going to be watching this evening. So hats off to you,
Yeah.
Owen. And I ended up ignoring all of his advice. So because I am so damn good at this game, I'm, the guy that was at the championship table at the Southern Ontario Open. I should probably ignore what he has to say. And went ahead and ran Sevi 1. My Sevi 1 version of the meat beater list that does not have 2 judicators in it. And then I played a Harbinger list that started off as the Project Foundation list, but then I changed it up and I put Tristan driving adjudicator, and because I thought, hey, I'm gonna make Tristan immortal. I'll have Harbinger there, and she can martyr him every time that he gets killed. And I'll try not to get him fired on too frequently, but I should be able to make him reasonably immortal. And so that was the concept. And John, I did great in the first round. I have to tell you, it was some of the best War Machine I've ever pulled off. I got the bye. So
you told that buys what's what?
I'll tell you what, that bye ain't gonna be coming back to the War Machine table anytime soon, because I dream crushed that bye. I had him down 4 control points on the first turn. I don't know how I did it, but I did it, and so it was the buy rage quit. He flipped the table. Luckily, I caught all of my models in midair because I'm just that I'm that good, really. Let's face it. And so that was the first round, and so that is that's my battle report for that one. So how about you played a little X-wing? I understand.
Yeah. I didn't get a lot of games in the past 2 weeks because we had our birthday extravaganza for our local store, and I helped run all 3 of the tournaments, so I didn't have a lot of time that weekend.
How did that go, by the way? Did you get a good turnout, and was everybody had fun?
Turnout was solid. Everyone had fun. A lot of great people there. A couple new faces, which was always good to see.
Nice.
But since we only had 12, which is really low for us
that is
on
low.
Saturday, we got done relatively early.
Yay.
And I, for some reason, I didn't just go home to sleep because that would have been the best idea. I was looking around, really wanted to play some X-Wing, and finally, Eagles fan was like, "Hey, you wanna go play some X-Wing?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, play some X-Wing. Let's go." And then he starts. I convinced him to do random lists because that's where the fun's at.
Explain to me random list. What is that? I think you mentioned it to me once before, but I was probably drinking.
Yes.
could you mention it? Let me know what that is again.
Well, I'll do it for my end. My end, what you do is you just flip, you shuffle all your pilot cards together.
Okay.
And you flip until you get about 80-ish points of, or until you exceed 80 points of ships, and then you just add upgrades with the rest of your points.
Oh, that does sound like a ton of fun.
It's super fun. So I did that, and he wanted to play with some interceptors, so to sort of make it semi-random, I shuffled all the interceptor cards together, dealt him 2, then shuffled everything else together with it.
Yep.
And dealt him the rest. At that point, he brings his buddy in, and I realize I have been bait and switched into a teaching game.
Uh-oh.
But okay. So I teamed up with his buddy, and we actually got occasional Brushhead Creekins in there to play also. She's never played before, was kind of interested, because it's a game that she was borrowing models for, just about doing anything.
Yep.
Buying any models. So we played, ended up with an A-Wing, a B-Wing, and Chewbacca and the Falcon.
Okay.
We spent our points tooling it up. I gave the B-Wing the advanced sensors that lets him take his action before he moves.
Okay.
Super duper fun. Oh my god. It's like, I'm gonna hit that asteroid now. Barrel roll, move over here.
Nice.
Or hey, I'm gonna cross over that asteroid. I want to take an action. Well, I'll do my action now. Go over the asteroid. I don't care.
Yay.
super fun. And we gave Chewbacca like the full shebang. He got a gunner and some other stuff. And I've decided in team games, if you have just one new guy, let him run the Falcon. He's going to have a hoot.
Yeah.
If he's just going to fly around the board, making left turns. It's going to be like a NASCAR race for him. Making left turns, shooting anything that comes nearby. And then you can let him get in the real fighters later. But we had a good time. It was pretty fun.
Oh, and it's tankier than crap, so the thing lasts forever.
Yeah, it does. Though at the end, it was pretty funny because it had almost nothing left, and there was an interceptor left, but we used Luke Skywalker, the gunner, in it, and he'd just been paying dividends, so he ended up winning with the Millennium Falcon, killed the last interceptor.
Nice.
And Eagles fan reminds me to mention the first move Kree did, which was pretty much fly straight forward into an asteroid. But he ranted and raved, and then we had to taunt him because while she was doing that, half of his guys were like out of position.
Were you taunting him, or were you taunting him?
Oh,
see what I
I
did there?
see what you did there.
See what I did there? That's comedy, folks. That's the sign of painting with my mouth, John, right there. Comedy.
But that was good. You got to learn. When new people play, you got to let them make their own mistakes, see what their results are.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so the two thoughts I had from that entire game were that let them make their own mistakes. Give them advice, but let them do what they think.
Sure.
And play random. When you're teaching new people, let them take whatever the heck they want to take. Play random with your stuff and just have a time.
Yep, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna do that the next time I play with Signar Jake. That's gonna be too much fun. We're gonna just play the random stuff. Don't try to be all serious about it.
And even if you want to use a certain ship, just be like I want to use a Falcon. So take your Falcon one, shuffle them up, deal one out, put those aside because you don't want to ever have two of those. That would be uncool. And then shuffle the rest of yours up, deal some more out. There's a lot of ways you can do that. It's just super fun.
What a great idea! Cool, man. That's a great bat rep there and a great a deep thought because we've been jonesing for the deep thoughts, buddy. I know I have. So my second game, I actually got to play a game. I didn't draw the bye two rounds in a row. I tried to get the bye 2 rounds in a row, but they wouldn't give it to me because I figured if I beat the bye once, I'd have them in my sights for that second game. So I drew in the second round. One of the local fellas there, David Wanke, he usually plays a really mean Earthbreaker and a really mean Merc list. And this time he was sporting his Legion, and he put out Callus. So I was like, great, grindy, awesome. And
he's Wanky Kong, right?
Wanky Kong, exactly.
Yep, cool.
Is he in the chat room right now?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
I was just checking to be sure.
Yeah, that's Wanky Kong. And I have never beaten Wanky Kong. He is a completely legit player. And so he's going at it, and he puts out Callus and he feats, and I decide, okay, that's fine. The only place he can bring him back is his the swordsman that he's got, or legionnaires, whatever they were. I just ignored the entire unit for a turn, and I was able to do that because of the way my list was. I had a defender's warded judicator standing there, and I had a bunch of bastions and things like that, and I was able to just kind of concentrate on some of the other parts of the list and just ignore them first. So I basically took his feet away from him, and he did not have any of the incubi in that he had actually paid for. So he didn't. So once I got past the feet, I was just like, I just opened up on it, and I'll tell you, there are fewer things that are more fun than strolling up with your judicator and into a group where you've got I had 4 war spears, and I had 2 or 3 of the legionnaires, and I had I did cause 1 incubus to show up, and here comes the choir. So I'm at 9, power sweep. POW 20 power sweeps with the judicator are some of the better sex I've ever had. It is good times. And so I did that, and I just wore him down. He eventually ended up trying to. He knew he was going to lose the game on scenario. So he went ahead and charged the Judicator with Callus and just got nothing done. And then I hit him real damn hard and one shot at him. So that was one.
But you finally beat him.
Yeah, finally beat him. 2-0. 2-0 then at this point in the I'm feeling pretty bullish about myself at this point because I'm 2-0. I just beat Dave Wanky Kong and everything's doing great. So you had another match, you said.
I did actually yesterday. I played against L. Marshall in the chat room. He actually called out my Mad Hammer list because he's learning Scorn and he wanted to start against what he considers to be my best list.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought that. Originally, it was going to be at 35, but he had played 50 the game before and apparently had it no problem. So we just played 50.
Okay.
And I tested some changes that Epic Brushhead Cindervale had chatted with me about.
Nice.
I've been chatting with him about a lot of stuff on my list after listening to the Chantac Dojo where they answered my question about what to do when your Merc's not fairly responsive to help. But that's fair. Not many of them play Mercs. But
yep. Nope, that's fair.
So my only changes, I'll go over the whole list real quick. It's sure. Mad Hammer. He actually has 2 gun bunnies, which is a change. 2 blasters. 2 gunners, sorry. 2 gunners. I have Gun Mages the Mule. I have Hammer Dwarves. I had a unit of Tactical Corps, which is also another change.
Mm-hmm.
And then a full array of solos, Alton Ashley, Dougal McNeil, Reinhold, Linus Rissall, who is a change, subbing in for Ragman.
That's good. Hunter's Mark is a good thing.
Yeah, Terran, Roshan Brine, a couple other solos. And he was playing a Xerxes list. And it's Xerxes with 2 Archidons.
Okay.
That was Caw and Tuki Tuki.
Caw.
And then he had a full unit of Satrati. He had 2 units of Actuari and 1 unit of Incendiari. He had the small unit of Pain Givers, the Tyrant Commander and Standard, and a full unit of Venators with UA.
So not a lot of beef in this list.
Yeah, not much at all. Crap.
Jeez.
I look at it, and my first thought is, I've never played against, any sort of miserable meat mountain type of deal, so I don't know how it's going to work. The basic setup is I have, on my side of the board, there's a forest and a tower that are sort of a little bit in from the flags. We're playing Incursion.
Yep.
So it's forest, open area, then tower, then a little bit open area on the other side. The flags on the outside of those. And on his end, there's a hill and a forest is the only real pieces of terrain we care about.
Okay.
Just like a wall in the middle, but no big deal. I win. I go first. And I pretty much just run everything forward because that's what you do.
Oh, God, yeah. Yep. Especially against that list.
He goes and he defenders towards those Satrati. They get overcome they get +2 movement, whatever it's called, from one of the 2 monkeys.
Oh, press forward?
Press forward, that's it, yeah. And they just march forward and shield wall, armor 20 stupid, and defense stupid. And, with PAL 14 more or less being my biggest attack, I'm not sure how I'm going to get through them all, but, I'm not too worried.
Yep.
Respectful, but not super worried yet. And everything just straightforward, this big line of dudes.
Yep.
My second turn, I just decide it's feet popping time. I rain some death down on rain some death, quotation marks, around on the Satrati and the Actuari right behind them.
Yeah.
And the direct hits do some damage to Satrati, and the blast is boosted dice -8 on the Actuari. I figured, a couple points of damage each.
Yep.
Nah, I did a couple points of damage total.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. My dice the first turn were less than average. So I did have 1 lucky roll, which was Nissa shooting at Tuki Tuki.
Mm-hmm.
Managed to get the crit with their ice bolt.
Nice.
Stationary him. So I put a slightly angry pig into him and killed him.
Yep, that'll do. That'll do, pig.
And I'd killed about a third of the Senators, and the mule Here's a shock. My mule critted. I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
Sent a whole bunch of those guys flying. I don't think I even killed any of them, but I did a bunch of damage to a whole bunch of them, put them in bad positions, and pretty much put his tyrant commander on, revelry duty for a while.
Nice.
He presses forward again, takes some shots at Cindy RI, sets Alt Nation on fire, kills some gun mages, standard stuff. Bounces some shot off of Brian, who just transfers him to Rorsch and goes, or Rorsch just transfers him to Brian because that's what he's there for.
Yep.
The flag that Rorsch, Brian, Terran, Vanessa, and the Venators were fighting over was the one that went away.
Of course it was.
Yeah, the one we had almost nothing right near, which was, he had some Incendiari, was a Machiari following him up, and I had basically gun mages and Alt Nathley nearby, was the one that was stayed. It didn't end up mattering. I mean, I started putting shots in. He actually had the Achiori behind Satrati, throw their crazy chain things, and drag my gun bunnies forward and jam himself up. He'd already moved the Satrati at that point. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. This is okay. Shock of shock. He set up another promised land full of dudes. Where I hit one and hit like 6 guys.
Yep.
So Mule goes on, my third turn and shock of shock. It crits again. This time they were close enough that I'd used Thunderbolt instead of Snipe. And so I hit Thunderbolt. Hey, look, they all push 3 inches back. Let's see how far they fly. 6 inches back. So the leader of the Incendiari just flew. He was like 9 inches away from where he started.
Wow.
It's hilarious. And that was sort of the point where things started going sideways. His Satrati had gotten far enough that I just primed the Hammer Dwarves and they charged in. And yeah, Hammer Dwarves with Prime still killed World.
Oh, God, yeah, they hit hard.
I mean, I even got one to crit smite them into 2 of the Achiori behind him. That was pretty good, too.
That's some good times right there.
Yeah, and at that point, it was pretty downhill for him. He kept the pressure up on the gun mages, killing all but 2 when they failed their command check and failed to rally the next turn. So Victor Pendrake, who I forgot to mention, rolls up and he throws Chain Bolo at one of the Achiori who's in melee with a gun mage. Misses him, hits the gun mage, so he falls down. I'm like, that's almost as good. Mule walks over, blows the Achiori away. Looks good.
Sounds like it was a good game for you.
It was good fun. He learned a lot of stuff. He played it pretty well, but he gave me too much. I got too much ground and just had enough shooting to keep him from doing much. He did score a control point. I could have scored a bunch because I cleared off the center flag pretty easily, but I didn't feel like giving up the shots.
No, I understand.
Keep calm and continue winning.
Exactly.
And my deep thought is the first round, except for the one crit, my dice were poo.
Yep.
And I just keep going through it. Dice will eventually even out. It may take more than a game, but towards the end of that game, El Marshall will say that those dice were some BS.
Well, I mean, pulling off 2 crits with the Mule will always make your dice seem a whole lot better than maybe they even were.
Well, they were pretty good also. I had some really stupid rolls with Hammer Dwarves just crushing Satrati out of hand. And even with Prime, that's a little bit of dice -9. I shouldn't necessarily be blowing them up, but I was.
Yeah, I mean it's at least a couple points each on normal, and if they spike a little bit, then bad things start happening.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of my spikes came.
Yep. Yay. Well, good.
It was a good time, and he learned some stuff, and that's what I aim for.
That's good. So my third round. So if you remember right now, I'm feeling a little bullish.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say. Then they announced who my opponent was, and it's Jordan Knock. And Jordan is good at this game. He's real good at this game. He wins things like on the national level, and I would think you could make a pretty strong argument that within 200 miles of Chicago, he's top 5, top 3. So maybe one of the best. And he was playing an Oseram Earthbreaker list, and it was a kill box, and I dropped Harbinger. Then I lost.
Wow.
I understand how far that he can shoot and stuff like that, but it didn't start to really hit home until I'd had just the nose of her base outside the kill box, and he just laid into her. I couldn't get the I couldn't get the Judicator into a spot where I could necessarily protect her like how I probably should have. I made a ton of mistakes in this game, from just not putting I used Crusader's Call to bring her forward so I could bring the feet to bear across as much of the army, and I was just too greedy. I should have just advanced normally and just kept her back and not tried to feat on so many different things, and it would have been just fine. But as it turned out, bottom of turn 1, he was able to shoot me, put a whole bunch of damage on me, almost killed me. I shield guarded one of the shots away, and between the other torpedo and quite a few rat attack guns, he was able to bring her down to like 3 health. And then it didn't take much on the second round for me to kill him. I gave him a very short game. Second time I played him, second time I've given him a really short game. And so that's getting a little old. But hopefully next time I told him, I said, well, we'll see about next time. I'll see if maybe I can actually give you a game one of these times. But he was a real gentleman about it. He was offered some suggestions, and I really appreciated that. So things worked out good. Good times. I'm 2-1 at this point. I'm a little crestfallen, but I'm thinking to myself, hey, I can maybe still get a coin. Maybe I can still get a coin. And so that was that. Now, do you have any more battle reports, or should I just roll into my last game?
Go ahead and roll into the last game.
Okay. So I get Jordan from Madison in the last game, and Jordan is a great player. He's a Khador player. He has got 2 lists that he brought with him. He brought the Epic Butcher Doom Reaver spam list, and he brought a regular Butcher with 2 units of Black Dragons and a unit of regular IFP, so 30 IFP. And he had 2 of the Armor 25 Clamjacks, both the ones that don't have the guns, the Decimators. No, not Decimators. The
Devastators.
Demolishers. Whatever.
Demolishers have guns.
Okay, Devastators. So
Yep.
he whatever. D with Clamjack shell. And he went ahead and he was bringing everybody across. My list was I really like this list. It's a Sevi 1 Judicator with 2 full units of Bastions with a Bastion Seneschal, a small choir, a mechanic, a vassal, a small unit of TFG. Let's see, and then salt to taste, I guess. I don't remember what else is actually in there, but I'll tell you what, I almost took that small unit of TFG out before I started the day, and they were MVP because they kept in the second game against Wanky Kong, he had Bog Trog ambushers, and you know what Bog Trog ambushers don't like? They don't like
They're causing dudes.
That's and they sure no UA. No UA.
Oh, no UA. Oh, fair enough.
They don't care that much even for set defense. So
no, they don't.
So they came in and they protected Sevi's backside the whole game. Just cupped around Sevi just to give him a shield, and while Sevi ran like a little bitch across the table to try to get away from her. Meanwhile, Rovan and Co. were in the list as well, and they were trying to deal with Anissa, the chick on the horse, on the reindeer, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was having to deal with that nonsense, but they successfully eventually dealt with her, and they pushed forward. So this list against the 30 IFP, I think the mistake that Jordan made was that he wanted to push forward really fast and jam forward with his IFP, but in the meantime, POW 10 blast damage is an IFP's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And so he had pushed forward, and did not and was within the range of my blast guns, and I think I took out 8 or 9 IFP at the bottom of turn 1
Oof.
because he had pushed forward so hard, and I was able to, I was there sitting, at 10 inches, and then I was able to, project forward with the guns, and I ended up on the way, and I really did some. I hurt him pretty bad as far as that's concerned. And what it boiled down to was I was going to start with all the IFPs that I'd taken off. I think I did I don't know if I did a power attack sweep on this turn game too, but I was sure thinking about it. He tried to just clear the zone and win because I had to kill box myself at one point. And he went chips in and did not clear the zone. And I ended up going ahead, and Butcher was standing about 3 inches in front of me. And I ended up walking up with Adjudicator at Power Strength 23, Matt 9, and said, "How you doing?" with my fists. And
the answer is probably not terribly well anymore.
Nope, and I two-shot him. So said, "Good night, Irene," and went home with a 3-1 record. But due to the fact that I beat the living daylights out of the bye in the first round, my strength of schedule was garbage. And so I ended up taking, I think, 4th place. There was a chance that I could have ended up in 3rd, but just enough people lost in the wrong places, and I ended up taking 3rd place, or 4th place, I should say. So
yeah, that bye's got to be dealt with.
It's a mess.
Because you lost to the champ, so you should have a good strength of schedule, but yeah,
Yep.
I guess it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, and Danny, who was the TO on the thing, I mean, he did everything right. He absolutely followed the rules. I just got screwed by the rules. So, yeah, I mean, it's not my fault that I got randomly picked out of the thing. I mean, who's to say that if I didn't play that first round, maybe I don't win and actually, have some kind of strength of schedule. Because Wanky ended up 2-2. Jordan Knock won it all. And Jordan was undefeated until the last round, so he had at least 2-2, and I still ended up 4th. So Jordan for sure was 2-2 because he lost the one game before me, and then he lost to me. So I guess maybe losing to me gives like double negative strength of schedule or something.
No, it's the bye.
Yeah,
it's because he dropped afterwards.
Yeah,
the table and dropped.
Damn, bye taking the drop. What a jerk!
Yep.
What a jerk. Anyway, so there we go. That's we got some bat reps there. We got some of that kind of stuff. We'll see. We were going to talk a little bit about maybe some of the lock and load stuff, but it's the little hand tells me it's time for some flippity bloop.
It is.
So
we're going to start. I'm going to jump around in the list we've got here because there's a couple I want to get done.
Yeah.
Because of promises. Jason Belsha asked us quite some time ago, and I meant to get this on the marathon episode, but
sorry, Jason, we love you, man, but we love you, but obviously not very much.
He wants to. Can we talk about a serious Theme Force and how wonderful it is? And you've played it.
He's a
I have
jerk.
not had a chance yet.
I like I like it a lot. I mean, I've played it, and I really had pretty good luck with it. I've played it with 2 units of Invictors, and each with a UA and with a unit of Riflemen. I think the thing about Assyria, whether it's in the theme list or not, the problem remains she's a caster that can do no work late game, and it is a problem because you get to the late games type thing, and you need maybe a clutch removal of something, and it just can't happen.
Yeah.
So it's, I really think that it is a problem for her. I like her theme better than anything else because, man, I'll tell you what, 2 units of Invictors with Signs Importance is sort of great. I mean, I bought a second UA for the Invictors just to play with that theme force. It's so much fun. But so I'm so far out of Ret though right now. I don't know when I'm going back because I don't know what it was. I mean, I think I think it was probably San Diego just beat the Ret out of me hard.
Well, I'm actually, a lot of podcasts have been talking about Ret, so I'm I'm feeling a little bit of the bug again, so we'll see. I haven't actually looked at her theme list because, dirty secret, I still haven't bought Vengeance.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, why would you? They spoiled everything, and if you've got War Room, what do you need it for?
Yep, exactly. And I need to check out her theme list on War Room if I get back to where we're at. But actually, on that, I want to address something real quick before we go to the next Flippity Bloop.
Flippity Bloop.
Epic Brushhead Cindervale challenged me to play Connie B, Constance Blaze, as a mercenary caster and, master her next.
Okay.
But he could not think of who I should pair with her. So I'm throwing it out to the Brushheads. I have already posted a post on Facebook for you guys to go there and tell me what caster I should pair with her, not Ashlyn or Exelon Texas. So
yeah,
go there and vote. I actually own Exelon Texas. Devil Squid got him for me at the Lock and Load, but I don't have anything else to go with him.
Oh, okay. He didn't get you the $200 box?
I didn't know there was a $200 box. He told there was a deal, but, things are a little tight. I don't need to be spending an extra $200 right this moment.
Oh, I know. I got to see what was in the $200 box, and it's an impressive amount of stuff. The Andy Welton had Exelon Texas at the tournament. He wasn't allowed to play him because he's not released yet, but he's going to get around to it.
Well, he's got to get them all for Who's the Boss.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
Which we're actually still working on at the store. But anyways, throw that out there for Brushheads. Even if you're listening to this in podcast form, just jump on Facebook, facebook.com/paintingwithjohn, and tell me what I should play.
Yeah.
Whatever the highest vote is what I will play.
Tell Crash the Bird. What does Crash the Bird want you to play? I can hear him.
Tweet, apparently. Well, my wife just got home, so she's being loud because the wife just went to change and stuff. And
very excited.
Like when the wife leaves line of sight.
Very excited bird.
Next, Flippity Bloop. Another old one from Tau Dark.
Okay.
This is for you exclusively.
For me exclusively.
Yeah. Do you have a ratio of paint to airbrush medium, or do you just judge it in the airbrush hopper?
Okay, so first off, the best thing I ever did was buy airbrush pre-diluted airbrush paints. So I'm gonna get that right away. The best thing I ever did was to purchase the full range of colors from Badger Airbrush last time I was at Ben Lang bought them for me at last Gen Con, and then I picked them up from him. But if I am in a pinch and I want to use, let's say I want to do some airbrushing of like a Sanguine base or something like that, what I will do is I'll mix it in a separate cup, because mixing it in the actual airbrush pot itself does not work very well. You end up not being able to get a slug of the full paint in there almost no matter what you do. And even if you put like Windex in there before you go ahead and put the paint in, it still sinks really fast, and you'll end up with a slug of it down in the needle, and then you're gonna have problems because it's gonna be too thick. But usually what I shoot for is not so much an absolute ratio as I add Windex to it until it gets to be about the consistency of 2% milk. And so you want it to have a little bit of consistency to it, but you don't want it to be water either, because if it's just water, when you spray it on, it'll just drip and run all over the place. So that's what I do. It usually ends up to being, I want to say probably 50-50 or a little bit less. But definitely use the visual method of looking at it as kind of from a milk standpoint. Does this look like 2% milk? If it's pretty close to that, you should have pretty good luck. But man, if you can get the airbrush colors, use them. The guys on the was it the Krug?
The Krug, yeah.
The Krug are all over that. So
yeah, they did a lot of it on their last podcast.
Yep, love those guys. Sister podcast to the Painting with Menoth John.
And Eagles fan mentions that even with the airbrush paints, you still need to cut them depending on your needle size and such. So
yeah, if you have a real fine needle, I can see that.
Yeah.
Flippity bloop. Flippity
All right.
bloop.
Well, the next one is from Joseph Merrick.
Yep.
What is your favorite reveals of Lock and Load 2014?
Hey, there we go. Now we get to talk about it. Let's see. My favorite reveals from 2014, Lock and Load. I guess I would have to say probably Dozer and Smeg. because it's a beautiful looking model. It is got great rules. It's going to make blitzers better, which I'm all about. And I might have some trolls these days, so it'll be super fun to play with him. So, so what about you? What do you think, Mr. Co-host, the host?
Well, I'm going to go meta and actually reference a thread on the mom forums too. My favorite reveal was the fact they didn't reveal too much.
Amen.
And there's a chance that there may be stuff unspoiled from the book when it comes out.
Oh my God, that'd be the greatest thing ever. They
Uh,
they so blew vengeance for me.
yeah, like I still don't own it. I mean, they say the fluff's solid, a good read, but
Yeah,
I don't need it for rules content, so it's a luxury purchase now.
yeah, it really is.
I'm
And
still like three no quarters behind on read the fluff in there, which is usually pretty good too.
yeah, I mean, and now it's, the no cores are 450 pages long or whatever they are. There's a lot to read.
Yeah.
So cool. That I guess I saw Berica, PG Hick from Michigan. Jake
Mhm.
Hickok is telling me all about how amazing his games are with Berica, and I'm too new to trolls for it to make any sense to me. I see a very limited spell card. I see a feat I guess I don't clearly understand as to what makes it so amazing. But he tells me that Mulg is the man in that list, and that's kind of a shame because Mulg is the man with other people too, and maybe you don't want to take Berica against other things that need Mulg. So, I guess we'll see. It's I look forward to being educated now that I'm on doing the troll thing a little bit here. I will I'll bow each night in the direction of Des Moines and to troll Jesus and his miserable meat mountain and see what if we can find some love for the Berica.
He seems solid, but not over the top. I kind of liked his design.
He seems amazing to model to paint.
Yeah, that too. All right. Next. Oh, here's a good one. Next flippity bloob. From Mike Bond, and he says he's pulling a Brett Painter.
I'm
And
sorry.
it says a very long time ago, Lost Hemisphere days,
Yep.
you rated Connie as one of the best models to paint. Do you still feel that way? Why or why not?
See, I saw that flippity bloop earlier in the day, and I was like, I did what?
You might have
And
been drunk.
oh my God. And I don't remember even saying that. Connie is a pretty model. I mean, if you like filigree, it's pretty. I would not say that it's that awesome to paint anymore. I have found other things I'd rather paint than her, considering she's still pewter. I guess if I were to look at models that I would rather paint than her, I like painting Gatorman Posse. That's about as much fun as I have painting because, man, you get such amazing results for reasonably low effort, and so it appeals to my lazy side as well as my artistic side. So yeah, that I'm not a fan, not a fan.
I'll put my opinion in later after I paint her.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely, flippity bloop.
All right. James Halgren is a new name to me. Asks, what's the first thing someone who's an awful painter but wants to improve should focus on?
So ask that again. I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear all of it.
What's the first thing a guy who's an awful painter but wants to improve should focus on?
Okay. I think that the first thing that you do is make sure you're using. There's a few things. The first thing you want to do is make sure you're using a good quality paint. Make sure you're not using craft paint. Make sure you're using miniature paint like either P3 or some type of Citadel or a Vallejo. Something that's a reputable model color, because the craft paints are crap, and you're going to get bad results, and there's nothing you can do about it. So spend the extra little bit of money to get some of these paints that I have are unbelievably old. They are in good condition, and I use them still to this day. So they will last a long time, and you'll get a lot of use out of them, and it'll make your stuff look a lot better. Secondly, get a good brush. I use Winsor Newton Series 7s. They are extremely hard to get your hands on anymore because the Fish and Wildlife Service or something has banned the importation of sable hair, I guess. and I'm going to blame Bush and Obama, just so I'm not showing any partisanship. But I'm going to blame government in general. So we can't get Windsor Newtons really so much into the states anymore. I know that
I hear that's going to change soon. So
that's good. And I'm glad that they pulled their head out of their butts. And so that'll change. So the Windsor Newton Series 7 is a very good brush. I also have a Games and Gears brush that's real good, and I have the Kickstarter. I kickstarted their latest deal and got a bunch of those brushes from them too. So I'll be reviewing the Ichiban Studios brushes when I actually get them, but that's going to be not until the fall because I didn't get in on the early bird on that one.
gotcha.
So, but that's, I mean, after that, if you've got a good brush and you've got good paints, make sure that you're not, glopping the paint on. You want to make sure that you've got a little bit of moisture to it. And that's what's so nice about the sable hair brushes is that they hold moisture really well. So as long as you're, constantly going back into your water and kind of wetting it up and making sure that the paint's not going on too thick and heavy, it'll go a long ways. Last tip, Citadel washes. Citadel washes are without question the no talent painter like me, his best friend, because you can take a model that looks pretty mundane, and then you hit it with Agrax Earthshade if you want it to be kind of a brownish tone. You've got Reichland Flesh Shade, which will pull the flesh tones kind of a reddish color. It's also really good for other colors to pull them down red. And then Seraphim Sepia is excellent for doing armor aging and things like that. It gives it kind of a tarnished patina to it. So use those and, use them liberally. You almost can't put enough on, but, obviously you don't want to go crazy, go nuts. But it does amazing things for your painting. And one of these times I'm going to get around to, I'll maybe when I do these paladins, I'll do a separate video washing with Menoth John or something and show what a difference it makes. And that way I can have the camera turned up to 11 as far as its resolution and stuff, so you can actually see the details of what's happening. But those are big things. John, what do you have? Do you have any other tips beyond that?
Eagles fan in the chat room took some of mine. I'll read his out real quick. He said, thin down the paints and paint inside the lines, which are great things.
Yep.
I'll go with 2 is, even if you don't paint inside the lines, if you thin your paints down enough, you can just do your touch-ups. And don't be afraid to go through, get a little sloppy on the first coat, and then go back and fix it. And then my other one is just keep painting. The more you paint, the better you will get. You get that muscle memory. It seems crazy. It seems like you'll never get better, but you will get better, and that muscle memory will come. It's awesome.
Yep. Don't paint with too small of a brush either.
Yeah.
You'll notice that I changed brushes when I went to start working on this cloak here. I had for my detail work I was using a 1, and for this now I've moved up to a 2. I could literally be using a 3 very easily for what I'm doing right now. And you want if you have a bigger brush, holds a little bit more moisture, and it gives you a much smoother appearance to your painting than you would if you were using a small brush. So there you go. There's some quick tips, some quick hitters from John and John. Flippity bloop.
All right, next one. This is probably going to be a quick one because I'm not sure how much we can do with this, but L. Marshall, who should be in the chat room right now, says, I think I'm going to attempt a full model painted like Jade. What would you use to accomplish this?
To paint Jade?
Jade.
Oh, boy.
I actually did some research into this, and my 2 suggestions are, 1, Google some pictures of Jade, see what it looks like, and choose a type of Jade to mimic. And 2, Google a painting tutorial on how to paint Jade, because I have no earthly idea, and there's some out there.
I was hoping he was saying paint Jane, and then I would say, make a multicolored hat for it. But that's not what he asked. And thank you for thinking I might be that good of a painter. I am not. This is ostensibly a drinking show with a painting problem. And so I have a few things to say on the most rudimentary levels of painting, But honestly, when it comes to doing that kind of where you're shooting for some kind of semi-translucent opalescent type of thing, I'm sure there are ways to do it. And somebody like a Neek or some of the really high-end painters could probably help you. That would not be me. So if you're in the chat room, maybe if Orsa Soktavir is there, maybe he can give you some tips via PM or something like that. Or maybe he'll make a tutorial. You never know. So that's all I got to say. I talked way more than I probably should have about something I have no knowledge of.
Well, I'll throw in real quick for those listening at home, Eagle Span again being very helpful. He mentions the GW green range is pretty awesome. He said use glazes to create depth. I'm not good with glazes, but if you know how to glaze, that will definitely help.
Yeah. I like glaze on donuts.
I don't eat donuts anymore.
Oh, we are on the drive to 175, so I haven't eaten a donut in a long damn time.
I'm not even sure I remember what a donut looks like.
There you go. You're a good man. I had a rough week in Seattle, but I've stayed at the 184 mark, so I'm happy I haven't gained any, but I haven't lost any either.
Yeah, I'm pretty stable too right now, but it was some crazy weeks.
Yep. So I think that's we got to stay the course. People plateau, and we're just on a little bit of a plateau here on this journey, and we'll keep on pushing through. So flippity bloop.
All right. Well, next, let's see, 3 good ones left, and we actually have some for Will for your. That was an announcement we probably should make at some point, maybe at the end of the segment.
Yeah, we will. We'll announce that.
I'll go with this one.
Okay.
It's from Banion in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
He says, and I'm sure you have you looked at Relic Knights? Any thoughts? Because they're actually they've shipped some. Brushhead Brett Painter has already got his and opened his box, so they legitimately exist.
Relic Knights. So they're not a mythical beast.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Well, good for him. I know that he was cursing every day that they didn't come. So I'm glad that stress has left him. I need to get him that. I'm going to have him paint Epic Alexia for me. So I need to get that to him right away before he starts nailing into the Relic Knights. I hope he can find somebody to play with.
We're all in at the store.
Oh yeah?
I've got 2 factions coming. Not Brushhead. The Barnacle has 2 factions coming. The Jason has 2 factions coming. Banyan has 2 factions coming. I'm going to trade some old 40K stuff for another guy's, some of his stuff. So
wow, super
we got
cool.
plenty.
Super cool.
Yeah,
you'll have to
we'll be able to play it, see how good it is.
Yep, you guys will have to give us a little bit of a review when we get around to that point.
I will.
Cool.
So
flippity bloop.
All right, Scott Hebel II asks gamer etiquette question. My friend's a sore loser, but he recognizes it.
Kick him in the
schnauze. How hard should I really have laughed when my Iron Fang Kovnik one-shotted Peace Striker with full health on a free strike?
Okay, my first advice is don't sink to their level. My second advice is laugh hard and long. Peace Striker getting nailed by a Kovnik is a good thing. That can only be good for this game. So, but
you've got to realize taking a free strike that stuff's going to happen, and it is funny when it happens. So.
Oh, absolutely. Kovniks are weapon masters, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't take free strikes from weapon masters.
No. Not if you can help it.
No. They're like decent power, too. I think they're like either POW 10 or POW 12 weapon masters. I mean, that's... 12
or 13, something crazy
yeah, they're ridiculous. You don't want to screw around with that. You can't hold 10 Pokemon. That's nothing.
Yeah, you should definitely laugh. And honestly, the best cure for someone who's a poor, who's a bad loser is to just keep hitting them with it. Eventually, he's going to realize it's a game and he shouldn't be taking that seriously, and he'll lighten up.
Yeah, I hope so.
The first thing with this game is ego has to go out the door.
Oh, God, yeah.
Ego is the root of all evil in this game.
Yep. Yeah, I had a player who did not do as well as I did, telling me how I made the wrong list choice against Jordan Knock, And I proceeded to say, well, Jordan and I were talking about it, and Jordan seems to think I made the right one. So there you go.
Indeed.
Whatever. I don't have time for that nonsense.
Yep. All right. So next one, Banian pulling his best Brett Painter impersonation, putting two in.
I think that Brett Painter we've scared him off.
No, he's just painting and doing other stuff. I talked to him on Friday.
Okay. I just don't
you get to play some games. It was good.
He needs to know that he's always welcome to submit a flippity bloop for.
I told him we might not even make fun of him if he shows up.
Oh, we'll make fun of him. That I can't.
I had to tell him we might not. That gives him hope.
That's true. That's true.
Peter will crush it.
Good. Good point. Good point. Way to sucker him.
Exactly. So Banian asked, did you feel bad when your opponent killboxes himself second turn and you're playing E. Denny? Oh, Brad, you're playing E. Denny. You should just feel bad.
That's terrible. That's oh God. Well, that's a loss. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah, you should just feel bad in general. You're bad and you should feel bad.
On Brunch Machine with Menoth John this week, I had told the Brushheads that I was going to be playing Crix. And then, somehow all these trolls happened, and then I had to play trolls. But
trolls happen.
Trolls do happen, apparently, in large quantity. And so I played the trolls, but I was sitting there trying to dojo lists for Crix that didn't make me feel bad because I was playing a less experienced player, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't come up with a list that didn't make me feel like a complete douchebag. I was like...
And that's why I don't play Crix.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, let's see. I could put... No, that caster's too good. Nope, that list... No, can't put those... Jeez, Louise, what I got left?
Yeah.
So, can't do it.
All right. I'm going to save this last one from Tau Dark. No, of course, I will get to it. He put it in the chat room, and it seems like it's more of a longer one, and we're getting kind of close to the end.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, we're right there, and we were up against it. So
I might even save it for when you get Will on. So
okay.
It's a good time for that particular announcement if they haven't heard that.
Yeah. So for those of you who were part of the uniqueness, we'll say, that was last week, we did the second audio program for the Iron Gauntlet finals, and it was received with great fanfare, and at least by the people who were listening to it. And we had Mr. Will Pagani on, who is a player of some reputation. He's he's won a couple of games, and he knows a couple of things about the game. And he did a great job, along with Epic Brushhead Ed Defoe, to give us a play-by-play alternative to Privateer Presses. Remember, folks, this is not an attempt to disrespect Privateer Press. Without them, having the stream up, the second audio program would not be possible. I thought that, it would be nice to give it that little bit of that painting with Menoth John flair, and that's what we did. So Will Pagani was on there, and Will has agreed. We've been in negotiations. Our lawyers here at Painting with Menoth John have contacted his lawyers. We talked about ponytails and whether or not John Spencer and I would need to grow ponytails. That we were able to negotiate out of that one. And but he will be coming on once a month for a flippity bloop with Will segment. So during that time, you'll be able to get on in there in the chat room and ask Will anything. He's got a lot to say. He's got a lot of very strong views on War Machine, and by his track record, I would say that they are pretty accurate views on War Machine, actually. So he's got a ton of experience with a lot of different factions. So I encourage the Brushheads. We're going to make it a once-a-month thing, and next week I would like to do the Brushhead Gallery. So, Brushheads, I would love to see your pictures. Submit them to the email at pwmenothjohn@gmail.com, and we'll compile a presentation full of awesome, and we'll go ahead and have that next week, so please make sure to get your entrances in. So I'm going to take this time. It's 7:30. To go ahead and release the water. Oh, wait. Release the Kraken. Hey! But it's water.
Rahn. And Lasso says, free Menoth John.
Yeah, thanks. That's great. Yeah, free Menoth
John. Said that during Warmer stream on Monday also. It was hilarious.
Free Menoth John. That's great. I can't wait to see the Privateer Press guys next time I actually see them. It's gonna be great.
I heard part of that cast. I sort of split in the middle of that because I was tired as hell, and it was good. Actually, I really liked towards the end his whole commentary. Like if if Watt had done a couple things differently, he would have won the game. So I thought it was probably better than. I mean, no offense to DC and Will, that's not really their job. Or that wasn't Will, was it?
Well, yeah, the Will and DC were on the Privateer side, and Will Schick, and then we had another Will.
It's not really their job to commentary, so I don't hold it against them. No.
Nope. I was, we had a certain, we had a little bit of lightning in a bottle happen for us. Mr. Pagani's dog was sick, or else he certainly would have been there. So he was. He was going to be watching anyway, and he offered his voice box up. And, I think with Road to War being a little bit on the side a little bit right now, and he was maybe itching to get a little bit in front of the mic, we kind of caught a little bit of lightning in the bottle on that one. And God, Will is just a straight-up guy. Love him to death. And I'm glad he is going to be a part of the Painting with Menoth John family moving forward.
Yeah, that's super sweet.
Yep. So it's that'll be coming up. Not this next week, but we'll be shooting for our first Flippity Bloop with Will probably the week after. So, the other thing we've got to decide, John, is do we want to stay with the 6:30 or we want to move back to 7 because this is the last week for Game of Thrones.
Well, we should put something up on the Facebook page this week and let the brushheads judge.
Absolutely. So yeah, get up on the Facebook there and tell us. We'll put this to the Democratic vote. And we'll say, we'll go by what you guys want to do. We can either move the show back to 7 o'clock, or we can go back to leave it right here at 6:30, so that we're done with all this shenanigans and whatnot by 8 o'clock. So put your votes in. Love to hear from the brushheads on this one.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to the media portion of it, and most specifically the Painting with Menoth John Movie Club for this week.
Absolutely.
John, tell us a little bit about Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian. Oh, it's an old movie.
It is an old movie.
But it's a good movie.
What year did it come out, John?
I don't know, but I bet you I can find out pretty quick.
Okay.
It had to be old because I thought at one point seeing Max von Sydow in it looking not like, a freaking
corpse.
Yeah, exactly. Had to be old. Looked like 1982.
1982. Holy cow! I was just getting out of middle school. Wow, mind blown.
I was 8.
Okay, great. I feel even older now.
Don't feel bad. I'm sure a lot of people are going to make me feel old too.
Yeah, that's fine.
It happens all the time.
That's
I have friends who weren't born then, so.
So 1982.
Yeah. So I would call it's the archetype. It's the pinnacle. It's like if you want to make a fantasy movie, this is what you look at first. This is the bar.
I think that's a good way of looking at it.
And the bar was set high.
Yes, it was.
It's not like a low bar. You have to work to clear that bar.
Yep.
As they saw when they made the sequel, which we will not be doing a movie on, I don't think. It's a totally different movie.
It had its moments of charm. I mean, I liked the little Chinese guy that was running around and stuff. That was good times. But
Mako? He's in this one too.
Yeah. Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's the narrator. He's the sorcerer. Mako's legit.
Like
we've had Mako on the movie club before because he was in Bulletproof Monk.
Oh God, yeah, right. He was the dude that was at the front of the movie theater, right?
Yeah, he was the Japanese guy running the Chinese movie theater. It was hilarious. He brought it up. They like, oh, lampshade this? Nah, we're addressing it straight. But anyways, yeah, Mako was. I mean, I'll say this: all the main actors in this movie played their roles well.
Good point.
No one's going to get Oscar nomination or like what was a pinnacle of acting. No, just good solid work.
James Earl Jones as the snake guy.
He was probably the best performance of it. He was effing creepy.
That guy can act his ass off though.
Yeah, and all of them. I mean, they all got their character. They did really well characterizations. Everyone. The bad guys, they carried themselves like bad guys. There was Sven Thorson or Sven Old Thorson, whatever his name is,
Mm-hmm.
who's been in a million movies with Arnold now. Um, and the other guy, I don't remember who played the other bad guy, but they all carried themselves like bad guys. They were properly mean and nasty.
Mm-hmm.
What I really liked is, and it's the first part of the movie, the theme hits you, and
Yep.
you know this movie is going to be epic.
Yep. Oh, it's got great music.
It one of the best soundtracks ever, one of the best scores.
Yep. Agreed.
Probably that and Star Wars. I'm not sure too many more. I mean, there's a lot of other good ones, but I think those two are the super iconic. You can't help but feel something deep inside when you hear those two themes.
Good point. It's got a very God. It's like it's a physical kind of a feel to it.
Yeah, it's great. The whole thing. What was it I put here? Oh yeah, there's a scene at the beginning where Conan's father explains basically their mythology to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's short, it's sweet, it's the perfect way to explain a mythology. And then later, Subasize, he asks him, "What god do you worship?" And these quick lines expand the world greatly, and it's just like a couple minutes of dialogue.
Yep.
Which is impressive because this dialogue is sparse in this movie.
Good point.
I think Mako speaks the most lines in this movie. Tim or James Earl Jones. Probably Mako because he's a narrator.
Was this Arnold's like first movie after coming out of bodybuilding?
Quite probably.
I think it might be. I'll have to look up on IMDb on that one.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, obviously, Hercules in New York was his first actual movie, and apparently that was a train wreck. But let's see. Here we go. Arnold Schwarzenegger. What else I see? At its core, this whole thing is a simple tale of vengeance.
Yep.
So, I mean, super easy. I mean, it's all about vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells the whole thing about vengeance, the good and the bad. I loved it. The sets and costumes were A+.
Yep.
Nothing felt out of place. It was all very grimy, earthy, low fantasy, as it's called.
Sure. And that's been that type of a trope went on and to influence a lot of other things too. I mean, it really, back in when this and some other movies of that time, really started pioneering. They weren't afraid to show grungy, grimy type stuff like that anymore.
And it earns its rated R.
Oh yeah, it does.
And the funny thing is, look at the action scenes. I thought the fight scenes were very solid.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the early ones with Conan fighting in the gladiatorial pit were kind of shaky at times.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, John Milius, the director, directed this really well and had the camera at the right spot, so you only saw what he wanted you to see, so he could cover up the not actually slashing someone's death and such. I thought that was really good. Really interesting way to film the action. I mean, you wouldn't get that nowadays. Nowadays, they just try and CGI it all to death.
Yep, exactly.
And the effects when trying to take Conan's body after he was damn near dead, simple effects, but really, they work.
Mm-hmm. I have a confession to the brushheads. I am not carrying this conversation worth a crap, mostly because I didn't get a chance to see the movie. So I'm relying a lot upon Mr. John Spencer today. So you're not hearing the normal banter that we will have about a movie club, and I feel a little bit bad about that because I feel like I let the movie club down this time. It's not like I was working third shift in Seattle, and it's not like I was working third shift in Seattle for 3 weeks, and I should have gotten it done, but I didn't, and I apologize To you, John, and to all the brush heads.
That's all right. I saw it this morning. I take notes when I watch a movie, but I like to have it fresh in my head.
No, you're doing a great job.
And
I, on the other hand, have completely screwed the pooch on this once.
when Conan leaves Valeria to go for vengeance,
Mm-hmm.
it's all vengeance. Like it's half vengeance, half honor. He wants to rescue the woman because even though he's a quote unquote thief, Conan has his own honor. He's taken gems for a job, and he's going to do the job. Doubly so because it's vengeance. That's
Yep.
sort of the idea I got. Is it's he couldn't. She tells him we can just leave, take what we've got, and go. But he between vengeance and his code of honor that you can sort of tell between rescuing Subutai for he could have left him,
Yep.
but he didn't. He freed him and they became companions. So, but when he goes off to infiltrate Tulsa Doom's compound and all, that is the worst infiltration job ever. He's so bad at it. He's so out of place, and I'm sure he's meant to be because he's a barbarian. That's not his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown to be. He's a warrior. He's a passable thief sort. He's got some sneaky to him, but just showing off the symbol he stole from the Tower of Set in the one city. It's like you're doing everything wrong, my friend. That's why you got caught. Oh, but yeah, it's a good, solid movie. I love it. Now, I'm going to say this fact, and I can't claim credit for it because I saw it when AMC does the movie notes,
Mm-hmm.
play a movie with the notes down there on the bottom.
Yep.
Which, if you got the time and the commercials, I suggest it because you learn a lot about the movie. It's a lot of cool little facts.
Sure.
Conan and Valeria only have one conversation where they actually speak to each other.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Every time it's one or the other speaking. Almost always it's Valeria speaking and Conan being Conan.
Yeah, Conan being the guy who can't speak. That's why I'm thinking this is really early in his career because he was just not articulate in the early days.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff was good, but there's only one scene when they first meet that they actually both speak together.
Interesting.
So, and I watched the movie and paid attention, and it was good. I mean, I'm not sure their love story was super believable, but I mean, when she goes on a little, epiphany of why, how she feels about, she always walked by tents and there's two people in each other's arms, and she wants that. So they may not have been actual love, just quick burning lust. But hey, she dies before it can fall out. So there you go.
Sometimes a little lust is an okay thing.
Yeah. So Copnick Scotty Potty says that the commentary for it is pretty good. I'll have to check that out if I ever get a better version. I own the super cheapo came with Conan the Destroyer also version because sometimes you want to turn the brain off and watch Conan the Destroyer, and that version is good for that.
So now, are they coming out with another one?
They are, and Arnold's going to be in it, but it's going to be like old Conan. He's already been king. He's no longer king anymore. So I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
And Conan's prayer to Crom when he's getting ready to fight Tulsa Doom's guys is the best.
Oh yeah. Yep. He has no bones with his god.
Yep. It's very cool. I mean, I would love to play in some sort of role-playing game based off that kind of story. It's tight, it's easy. You feel the mythology in it. It's great. I'm going to give it half a shot of Kraken, and you're only going to set that during some of the slower scenes just to take the edge off of it.
There you
There's
go.
not too many, but a couple. Or through the worst infiltration in movie history.
I'm gonna have I have no excuse. I had access to Conan. It didn't make it happen. I remember Conan very, very fondly. The scene of him pushing the wheel around and getting the jewel and eventually knocking off the snake guy and all that stuff. I have very fond memories of it. I probably should not. I should probably give it 0 shots of Kraken, so that I can actually remember the stuff, and then I wouldn't have a problem. So, good. Another excellent choice by the Brushheads. Did you suggest this one, or did this come from the Brushheads?
One of the Brushheads suggested I watch it, and when you look for a movie, I'm like, this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Brushheads, keep doing that. Suggest movies. I look at them. I can't guarantee I'll see them because no Netflix, no desire to get Netflix. I'm already paying money for Amazon Prime. I also get the most from that.
Yep.
But I'll take a look out, and I'm not opposed necessarily to once in a while buying a DVD for cheap. So if it's something cool that I want for my collection or want to loan around.
Yep.
Did you watch anything else during the week, John?
I went to see a movie last night. Actually, I went to go see the Tom Cruise shtick, The Edge of Tomorrow, which had some interesting music as its trailer, and the movie really is. I'm very happy with it. We're going to do this as a spoiler free, just because I know, John, you haven't seen it, and
Not yet, but I want to.
I can't recommend it enough. It is a ton of fun. It is everything that a science fiction movie ought to be. It's got a lot of action. They do a good job with the acting. They really do. Tom Cruise makes you forget that he's Tom Cruise and is a crazy Scientologist, so that you basically don't have to hate him. He really is. He does a great job in the acting. It's a little derivative in that you can see some real influences from The Matrix, Groundhog's Day, and then also you get a little bit of an Avatar feel with some of the exoskeletons. There's certainly some Starship Troopers influence in it. I really thought they did a great job. I made it through the whole movie without having to go to the bathroom. That's always a win, because that means I'm so far into the movie that my bladder doesn't pay attention. I don't pay attention to my bladder. And at my age, you got to pay attention to the bladder. And so it was very, very well done. I highly recommend it. I would give it. I'll give it 1 shot of Kraken, just so that you can kind of take the edge off of the fact that you are going to see references that are fairly blatant to as far as the movie influences and book influences that are being referenced by the author. But so go see it, folks. It is. I'm going to give this one a Painting with Ben Auth John stamp of approval. So we've never done that before, so I thought I would invent that just now. Excellent. Let's see now. But you've been watching a television program, John, that I have not been watching, and you were a little feisty with me in the pre-ramble about not having a desire to see this.
Yeah, me and my wife finally got through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It ended a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, honestly, at this point. But we finally got to TiVo and watched all the episodes, and I was in from the first episode because I'm a superhero geek. That's my particular cup of tea, so anything based on it's usually going to be good.
Yeah.
But to go by the common response was that towards the middle it got a little they didn't like it as much, and then after Winter Soldier hit, and it ties completely into Winter Soldier and everything that happens there with S.H.I.E.L.D., it was just amazing.
And I have yet to see Winter Soldier.
Oh my God, really?
I didn't get a chance to see it. It got out of the movie theaters before, there were so many movies that were coming out all at the same time, and I saw Godzilla twice. And I was going to go see Winter Soldier while I was in Seattle, but then I didn't end up seeing it, and I've heard that it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. People are calling it the best superhero movie, and while I won't necessarily go with that because Avengers is a thing, I'm not going to argue if you call it second best.
Yeah. Yep, I blew it, so I guess I'm just going to be waiting now for it to show up at the old movie theater, at the either in DVD, or I guess I should probably just get it on DVD. I mean, I've got Avengers. I just should
buy it on DVD. It's going to be worth it.
I love Cap anyway, so I definitely got to do that.
It was great. It ties in very well. Last episode of the season, throughout the season, they try and put in, some Marvel people. They get Colby Smulders in there to Agent Hill a couple times, Sam Jackson a couple times to be Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Once sort of just, I'm Nick Fury, and then once he's in the episode. for a long period. It's just good. It's got oh god, I can't remember his name. I'll come back to him, but it gets a lot of other people in there, and characters like it seems kind of slow towards the early part. It seems like, oh, we're doing weird thing of the week,
Mm-hmm.
but it all sort of comes together later.
Okay.
It's one of those. It's like if you did Babylon 5 based on the first couple episodes, you'd be like, yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
but it all comes together. And like the last episode I thought was absolutely great. It was hit every note, and the humor in that episode was off the charts.
Okay. Well, you got me hooked. I'm gonna have to try and figure out how I can watch it now. I'll have to take a look at what's available on my streaming services and see what I can come up with. But
And definitely wait until after you see Winter Soldier, though, because it matters. In fact, if it turns up properly, you can watch the first part of the season. When they say there's going to be a time in Winter Soldier, you wait, watch Winter Soldier, then watch the rest. Because that's how I saw it, and it was great. I mean, it's the way to watch it.
cool. Well, I will definitely, when I get to the point where this Winter Soldier comes out on DVD, then I'll ask for the proper way to watch it so that I can do it optimally, without question.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you seen the short from Thor: The Dark World yet?
I still haven't cracked open the DVD and watched it.
Oh.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to give me the hard time about it. I totally had that coming.
I haven't rewatched Thor: The Dark World yet, but I watched that.
Yeah, that's great. So I will get it
was
done.
good.
I will get it done. It's not a long bit, is it? It's like 10, 15 minutes?
No, it's just like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good though. I do want to rewatch Thor: The Dark World eventually, but actually, if we're on the media section, I actually have been watching another series I talked about a couple times, Justified, which is available for free, seasons 1 through 4 on Amazon Prime.
Cool.
So season 5, which is the most recent season, but is done airing, is not for free on Amazon Prime yet, so I'm slightly annoyed because I have to wait.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Season 1 was great. Season 2 is really good. Season 3 is solid, and then season 4 brings it back up again.
Sure.
They always you always expect it to go a certain way, and they throw you for a loop a couple times.
Cool.
And it's good. Watch it if you get the chance, especially if you can see it for free.
Have you watched any of Game of Thrones?
Nope, no Game of Thrones yet.
Okay. Well, tonight is the season 4 finale.
Something like that, yeah.
So it's gonna be it should be pretty epic, and look forward to maybe I'll talk a little bit about it on next week's show. Give them some overall thoughts. I don't know how spoilerific I want to go, but we'll just give it some overall thoughts.
The book's been out for a while. The brush has been like you spoiling it, but I'm not going to care.
Oh, I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to piss off the brush heads.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I'll just talk about it in general terms of kind of where what I've liked about the series so far, what I've thought were maybe some mistakes, and we'll try to keep the discussion of torture porn to an absolute minimum.
I've heard that. I listened to a couple nerd podcasts that go on about Game of Thrones. I do want to see it. I was kind of hoping that Amazon Prime would get it when they had that deal with HBO, but then it turns out HBO's given them everything but pretty much Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because that's such a cash cow for them.
Oh, well, the wife likes it, so at some point I may watch it, but we still got a season of Doctor Who to catch up on.
Yep.
Sorry, a half season for me, a full season for her. We just bought that. And we've been seeing the itch to watch some more NCIS, which we both love. That's just good. Turn it on and enjoy TV. Nothing too seriously deep most of the time.
Cool. Well, I think we've closed in on yet another episode, John.
Yes, we have.
I want to remind the Brushheads that they should get their entries for the Brushhead Gallery off to pwmenothjohn@gmail.com. We'll spend some time during the media section, I would imagine, next time, kind of going through those and talking about them, and we'd love to give you a shout out. So make sure that in the email that you mention what your screen name is in the chat room, so that we can make you temporarily internet famous. And if that will also get you your legendary Brushhead classification. And I wasn't sure what the hell to call it, so I called it a classification. And
that works.
And so we will see you guys. I'm gonna going to bring up a little bit of music here. We'll close the show as we are wont to do with some happy little clouds. I think. There we go. I don't know why you got to start the music like 4 times. I don't get it. Menoth John.
And I'd like to welcome
Well, I'll tell you,
First
folks,
of
it's
all,
been a
let me take
delight
this
to have
Thank you for allowing me
just
to
kind of a regular painting with Menoth John. And next week, we'll have the Brushhead Gallery. We will be back for more shenanigans and tomfoolery on behalf of the inevitable, the beautiful Mr. John Spencer. This is Menoth John, and we will see you same bat time, same bat channel next week here on Painting with Menoth John.
Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees.